This reflection relates to the 26th Sunday in Ordinary Time, September 27, 2020. And all three of the readings for today touch on the theme of a turning of one's heart. The reading from Ezekiel contrasts the case of an upright person who turns to wickedness with that of a wicked person who becomes upright. In renouncing past crimes, we're assured that the reformed person will live. In the second reading, Paul's second letter to the Philippians, Paul appeals to his congregation to make their own mind the mind of Jesus, to act from humility rather than jealousy or vanity. When you're doing what is right, do it because it's right and not because it looks good. And then the gospel reading is the familiar parable of the two sons. In this parable, Jesus touches on the theme of honoring one's parent, but in this text, the word Kyrie is used, so clearly that points to God, if you know your New Testament Greek, which I do not. The theme of repentance, a turning of one's heart, and the issues of disobedience, or the failure of responsibility, or failure of integrity. Some commentators labeled it heresy. All of us who are parents can relate to the vineyard owner's experience of asking one of our children to do an essential task and being told, no, or I don't want to, or why do I have to? It is vexing to say the least. We all know what it's like to be pulled in many directions, to be multitasking, to feel overwhelmed. And the answer to our distress from experts far and wide is usually delegation, or more euphemistically, make it a family endeavor. The child says no. The parent experiences frustration. Maybe the parent anticipates having to do the work himself, herself, and not with pleasure. Maybe the parent experiences anger. After all I do for you to meet your needs and try to indulge some of your wants, this is how you repay me. And so if the naysaying child later experiences a turn of the heart and complies with the request, after all, it's a lovely surprise. The parent experiences joy, relief, gratitude, and forgiveness of the child's earlier poutiness. On the other hand, we have the case of the child or a spouse or a roommate, a coworker, a friend, a fellow volunteer who says, oh yes, I will do what you have asked. And we let it go, out of our mind. Stress is relieved, only to find at the end of the day, the work hasn't been done and we're left holding the bag. We experience shock and dismay. This can lead us to feel profound stress, disappointment. Where did I go wrong with this kid? Anger. I've been treated with disrespect. And we may be tempted to level consequences at that person who has let us down, especially if it's a child or a subordinate. In a perfect world, the people we rely on will say yes to our requests for assistance and follow through. But Jesus did not live in a perfect world, nor do we. He asked, which son did the Father's will? And he answers the question. He tells us that a turn of the heart that leads us to do right, even after a prior resistance, will bring us into the presence of God. It's fruitful, I think, to reflect on the experience of each of the people in this story. The father, the son who originally said no, but later had a change of heart, and the son who said yes, but failed to follow through. What was going on that day for each of them? What were their intentions? What could they be thinking? What changed each son's intention? What got in the way? What was the father's feeling toward each of the sons after this experience? Did his love for them change? Probably not. Parents forgive, God forgives. But for me, the takeaway to consider those times when I have been the son who let down the father, as well as times when I've had a change of heart that led me to do what is right. I believe the summary is that our actions speak louder than our words, but we can note that the optimum situation is respectful words coupled with supportive, appropriate actions.